You're supposed to plus verb. You're supposed to recycle. You're supposed to clean up. You're supposed to wear a hat. You're supposed to be on time. You're supposed to say sorry. You're supposed to wear gloves. You're supposed to drink water. You're supposed to drink water. You're supposed to say hello. You're supposed to say sorry. You're supposed to use a napkin. You're supposed to use a tissue. You're supposed to say please. You're supposed to wear a jacket. You're supposed to use sunscreen. You're supposed to wear a helmet. You're supposed to wear a helmet. You're supposed to walk, not run. You're supposed to say goodbye. You're supposed to use a coaster. You're supposed to eat breakfast. You're supposed to blow your nose. You're supposed to use a bookmark. You're supposed to look both ways. You're supposed to use the stairs. You're supposed to wait your turn. You're supposed to say, I'm okay. You're supposed to write your name. You're supposed to clean your room. You're supposed to raise your hand. You're supposed to wear a raincoat. You're supposed to say, excuse me. You're supposed to wear a seatbelt. You're supposed to wear a seatbelt. You're supposed to use a crosswalk. You're supposed to turn off the TV. You're supposed to say thank you. You're supposed to say bless you. You're supposed to say I'm sorry. You're supposed to say excuse me. You're supposed to share your toys. You're supposed to say thank you. You're supposed to wash your hands. You're supposed to wait for the bus. You're supposed to say I love you. You're supposed to brush your teeth. You're supposed to say good night. You're supposed to cover your mouth. You're supposed to water the plants. You're supposed to follow the rules. You're supposed to hang up your coat. You're supposed to finish your plate. You're supposed to check the weather. You're supposed to clean up your toys. You're supposed to ask for permission. You're supposed to put your toys away. You're supposed to tie your shoelaces. You're supposed to zip up your jacket. You're supposed to say good morning. You're supposed to say I don't know. You're supposed to pack your backpack. You're supposed to be kind to animals. You're supposed to wait for your turn. You're supposed to look in the mirror. You're supposed to ask for permission. You're supposed to check your backpack. You're supposed to take off your shoes. You're supposed to respect your elders. You're supposed to turn off the lights. You're supposed to eat your vegetables. You're supposed to finish your homework. You're supposed to use your turn signal. You're supposed to put on your seatbelt. You're supposed to put on your seatbelt. You're supposed to walk on the sidewalk. You're supposed to use your indoor voice. You're supposed to turn off the computer. You're supposed to say congratulations. You're supposed to use your inside voice. You're supposed to listen to your teacher. You're supposed to clean up after yourself. You're supposed to share with your friends. You're supposed to share with your friends. You're supposed to use your fork and knife. You're supposed to wait for the green light. You're supposed to say, I don't understand. You're supposed to wait for the green light. You're supposed to check the expiration date. You're supposed to look at the traffic light. You're supposed to say, please pass the salt. You're supposed to say, please and thank you. You're supposed to say, thank you for the meal.